What's up, guys? Welcome back to the CH Summer Show.
Number 2, baby.
That's right. They say we never make it. And look at us now.
Here we are.
Nick, I've got a crazy story for you this week.
Do tell.
Unfortunately, I had to get tested for COVID.
Did you pass?
And I hope not. The results are pending. But the doctor said something interesting. She said I had the biggest mouth she's ever seen, and she could fit her whole hand inside of it.
Did she?
She did. She stayed in there, whole hand, rummaged around for quite a while. But
I don't like that word rummage there.
I'm tired of being ridiculed for this giant maw that I've got and I've had my whole life. So I'm going to start using it for some good by introducing our next news segment. Speaking of news, there's so many fake news articles out there, fake news sources. You guys need a news source that you can trust. That's why we've put together What's New. Check it out.
Hi there, I'm Eli, and you're watching What's News. And here's tonight's top story with Isaac.
It's orange with stripes.
Thanks, Isaac. Now let's visit Emma with the weather.
It's hot.
Thanks, Emma. Let's visit Matt with a breaking news story.
Thanks, back to you guys.
Thanks, Matt. Next up, here's our recorder on the scene, Claire. Thanks, Claire. Good stuff. Tonight's mystery. A decade-old cold case has been reopened. Here's Jude with the details.
I don't know. The case seems pretty cold to me.
Wow, chilling. Next, let's see what things are like in the sports world.
It's been a real great week for sports this week. We got some big games and everything.
Wow, that's gotta hurt. And for our last segment, I'm a big fan. And finally, a word from our sponsor.
Word.
This is Eli with What's News. See you next time.
Hey, have you ever met someone and thought they'd be an awesome grandparent? Well, Carol Bolin is an awesome grandparent. So that's why we wanted to sit down with her in the lobby and ask her some questions.
Why, hello, and welcome back to In the Lobby, the show where we interview one of the wisest members of our community. Today, we have a very special guest, this computer. But it's actually who's inside the computer who I'd like to interview today. Might I introduce grandmother to the stars, Mrs. Carol Boland.
Ta-da!
Carol, it's great to have you on the show today. First question, what's the longest your hair's ever been?
My waist.
What's the best bug? What's something cool that you know how to do?
I'm not cool.
Do you like video games? What's your favorite color?
Blue and purple.
If you could have one superpower in the world, what would it be?
To read your mind. No, I don't.
If you could have one superpower in the world, what would it definitely not be?
Pass.
In your humble opinion, what's the hardest substance on Earth?
I don't have humble opinions.
If you could erase a fruit from existence, which one would it be?
It's not a fruit, I don't think, but lima bean.
Who's the best employee here at the church?
I plead the fifth.
On a scale of 1 to 10, rate size last sermon.
I didn't hear it all.
Do you have a hidden skill?
I am a great pie maker.
Does this church building have any deep, dark secrets that you'd like to tell us about?
There's some great places to hide. Have you found them all?
What's the ringtone on your phone?
Used to be when Terry would call me, it was the old song, I just called to say I love you.
Have you had any strange pets?
I had a pet cow. And then after she got older, we butchered her and ate her.
Can you wink? Can you blink? What's one thing that you hope your grandchildren grow up to know?
I think it's important that we think on the things of God. Philippians 4, rejoice always. And we say, how can we rejoice? Because that's really hard in these times. But then it goes on to say, think on these things. And I found in the message, let me just read it because it says it so much better than I can. Today I choose to meditate on. So I think a lot of times in our minds, we let it go and we can get depressed and we can get angry. But if we can train our minds and if we choose to meditate, choose to think on these things. I choose to meditate on these things. what is true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. So that's what I would tell my high school students and my high school grandchildren.
Once again, I'd like to thank Carol Boland for joining us on In the Lobby today. Until next time, I'll see you later. Hello, all you board game heads out there, and welcome to Never Bored Board Game Reviews, a show where I, Game Master Gary, report on 10 of the hottest board games out there right now. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First up is Fireball Island, or as I like to call it, Fireball Smilin', because you just can't set up this big beautiful board game without smiles erupting like a volcano all around the table. 8 out of 10. Up next we have Gugong, or as I like to call it, Gugong out of my collection. This game is bad because I've never won it before. 2 out of 10. Up next we have Everdell, or as I like to call it, Ever Sure Is Swell, because woo woo, a wooga. Just look at this big beautiful board game. I've never played it before, but I know for a fact that you can be a wooden squirrel in it. 10 out of 10. Up next we have Viral, or as I like to call it, Downward Spiral, and I'll tell you why right now. This fun board game about being a virus that infects as many people as possible used to be my top favorite board game of all time. But then Viral betrayed me by becoming real life, and I only liked it when it was a game. 1 out of 10. Up next we have Mysterium, or as I like to call it, Mysterium. I'm not usually one for ghouls and ghosts, but this board game is frightfully good. 8 out of 10. Up next we have Scythe, or as I like to call it, Knife, which is maybe how I would say nice if I had a list. Scythe paints the picture of a dystopian future where we're all forced to be farmers again with cool pets, and the only technology are the big, mean, scary robots that are walking around all the time. I try not to get political here on this channel, but this far off future doesn't seem so distant to me. 7 out of 10. Up next we have Gloomhaven, or as I like to call it, I need a spare Gloomhaven to play this giant game. Excuse the language, but my scrawny arms can barely lift this gosh dang thing. It's rated #1 board game in the entire world, but if you ask me, it should be rated number 100. 1 for each pound it weighs. Haha. Up next we have Wingspan, and to be honest, I'm a little afraid of birds, and these ones are just a bit too realistic for me. But I also don't want to make any birds upset, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Next we have the game Root, or as I like to call it, 2, because PU. This game is all about a battle between raccoons, cats, mice, and birds. And while I harbor a healthy fear for these flying devils, I also have an understanding of their prowess in battle. If this was real life, the birds would win every time. Unrealistic, 3 out of 10. Up next we have this very spooky game called Horrified, in which... Hey mom, where's my copy of Horrified? No, I asked you to go to Target and pick it up. How am I supposed to do my board? Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Never Bored Board Game Reviews. I've been your host, Game Master Gary. Until next time, keep gaming.
Up next, we have a very special treat for all of you. Marcy Tabarosi, our high school intern for next semester. That's right, you heard it here first. Is going to be doing a Devo for us today. Check it out.
Say you're in the middle of reading a book. Now, if you're anything like me, I can't read a book in one setting. I have to take breaks. In the book of Psalms, we see this word appear called Selah, which means to take a pause, to take a break. Throughout scripture, we see this word. Now, King David, the author of Psalms, had the intention in mind to place Selahs after groups and chunks of scripture to allow us as readers to take a break, to take a pause, to give us time to reflect on what we just read. I encourage you guys this week, if you're having conversations with friends or family or even just hanging out at your house, to give yourself a Selah, to give yourself time to take a break, to take a pause.
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us for CH Summer Show episode 2. Join us in 2 weeks for episode 3 as we answer those 2 hot questions that everyone's been asking.
Are turtles just frogs with body armor?
And how do eyes see? We've actually got a question this week, too. Are we doing anything this summer? Natty, what do you think?
Funny you should ask, Nick. We've got our Mix At and Move At experiences coming up real soon. But you know what? You know who could say this better than us? Us. Check this out.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. And I'm Nathan. We are so excited for our Mix At and Move At experiences this summer at Ozark Christian College.
We get to spend some awesome time worshiping together,
Studying the Word together,
hanging out,
playing some crazy games,
and we've got some precautions and procedures in place to make sure that we all stay safe and healthy.
Don't forget to register at chjoplin.org/move4move
And chjoplin.org/mix4mix.
And the best part is,
No Zoom.